on your home, yeah.
My help, leave me not, neither forsake me, O Yah, for you are the Yashak of my salvation. Hallelujah, hallelujah. We told you, precious Abba Yahweh, down on humble knee, that you'll fall back into the bed once again, Abba Yahweh. We told you, Abba Yahweh, that your Malak speak the lesson, the bread of life to your people, to your nation this night, Abba Yahweh. Bind up every spirit trying to come against Abba Yahweh. Give them free liberty, Abba Yahweh. Your deep realm, your word, Abba Yahweh, may go forth and touch the erect tonight, Abba Yahweh, to strengthen your nation everywhere, Abba Yahweh. To endure this race just a little while longer, Abba Yahweh. To not to be weary, Abba Yahweh, but just to stand, Abba Yahweh. For knowing, Abba Yahweh, that you will take them on through the battle, Abba Yahweh. Touch those that need to touch in their bodies tonight, Abba Yahweh. For Abba Yahweh, we know that you are all powerful, Abba Yahweh. We know there is nothing too impossible for you, Abba Yahweh. For precious Abba Yahweh, we just ask you, Abba Yahweh, that our Malak speak tonight, that the words be like coal upon his fire, Abba Yahweh. That he feed your nation, Abba Yahweh. If it be your will that you grant us tomorrow, Abba Yahweh, that Abba Yahweh, we stand, Abba Yahweh. That wherever may come our way, that we be prepared and we be ready, Abba Yahweh. For knowing, Abba Yahweh, that our strength is not by the power of our hand, but it's the power of our mighty King, Abba Yahweh. And we know there is nothing too impossible for you, Abba Yahweh. For you are a mighty warrior, Abba Yahweh, have never lost the battle, Abba Yahweh. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Let us stand to our feet, nation. Precious Abba Yahweh, which is the YHWH. So they ask you your mighty name, your Melkuk to come, your will be done. In earth, Abba Yahweh, and it is the YHWH. Give us this day our daily ration. And forgive us our debt, Abba Yahweh, and we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil, Abba Yahweh. For yours is the Melkuk, the power and the honor, Abba Yahweh, forever, Abba Yahweh. So be it, Abba Yahweh. May it be fulfilled in the precious mighty name of Yeshua HaMashiach. Baruch your Malak tonight, Abba Yahweh. And he feels the wisdom of your lesson, Abba Yahweh. The bread of life, Abba Yahweh. To strengthen your nation to go on through the battle, Abba Yahweh. To lift up the cast down heads, Abba Yahweh. That your lesson may stretch us and bring us through back unto you, Abba Yahweh. In the straight and narrow way, Abba Yahweh. In the precious mighty name of Yeshua HaMashiach, I pray. Hallelujah, hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Bless you. Hallelujah. Yahweh. Yes, hallelujah.
Blessed be the Lamb of YisraYah'ale. We greet the nation, YisraYah'ale, his people, his scattered throughout the eras. That is every portion of the world. So we greet you all in YHWH's mighty name. We're here to dine upon the lection, the bread of Yah, through that profound revelation, YHWH HaMashiach. So we do bring up you all nation. I don't want to teach tonight, and I want to continue to finish up in part 2, as I began several weeks ago concerning readiness, or the words hashach, the thing that is, or has no need. It is prepared. It is ready for everything. We must understand what being ready is. It is when one is complete, and when one is prepared, and they are fit for the battle, or they are fit for the occasion. To give us an example, when one has made the readiness of being ready, it's like a bride preparing for a wedding. She takes care of every small detail. She makes sure that the napkins are right. She makes sure that every aspect of that wedding feast and every detail is carefully taken, attentive necessary actions to make sure it comes out beautiful. And in order for us to shine before the presence of Yah, we must prepare ourselves for the readiness or the occasion, so we can be fit for the battle that is ahead. Regardless of what the battle is, there's trials and tribulations, circumstances that arises, but yet we must understand, in order to be ready or to make the readiness, to be prepared, one must have certain qualifiers in one's life. One must be sincere, one must be dedicated. We go back to the example of the bride. She pays attention to everything. She covers every detail that is important unto her, because every detail of the wedding is important. She looks after the smallest of details, every coordination of everything. So in order for us to have that kind of readiness, or to be ready in our minds, we must be sincere, we must be devoted, we must be caring, we must be concerned. And if you do not possess those qualities and qualifiers, you're not ready, nation. And it begins in the most ultimate of places in order for one to be ready. So I want to begin here. Listen, I have 17 verses tonight. And a message like this would be 2 or 3, 4, 5 parts. But as I was laboring on Monday on the Koapan, I just had this urge to go in for a moment and put this message together. And I tend to go beyond the protocol when it comes to developing the strength and the integrity of a message. But I stopped at 17 verses. I could understand that. I had no determination to go further, because I'm very inquisitive when it comes to the ways of Yah. And so when we look at 17, it is the number of Teshua, it is a number of victory. What am I saying? What is Yah speaking to us tonight? If we make sure that our lives are identified by these factors, we will always have the victory in any circumstance, situation that try us in this life. I want to begin here in Tehillim, Psalms chapter 51. This is a ballad, this is a cry, a deep expression of Dawid unto Almighty Yah. And the first thing, if we understand this chapter, the first thing he does, there is a humble profession of his sin, his vile, sadistic ways, things that are not appropriate unto Yah, and he laments, he cries, he's in great agony because of his sins. It must begin there. You cannot associate, you cannot embrace anything that defies the standards of Yah. Look what he says in verse 5, Tehillim 51 verse 5. He speaks profoundly that I was schooled, I was twisted and shapen, he says, in ovunda, in all kinds of perversity and all kinds of depravity. I was shapen that way. Why? And in sin, in hate. And what is sin? It is any kind of offense against Yah when you blatantly defy what Torah commands us to do. When there is a pleasure or a willingness to defy Almighty Yah. He says in sin, that my Ima, he says she not only did she conceive me in her betam, but her protection of me, her warding off certain things, she allowed me to develop a disposition that was not appropriate according to Torah. She allowed things to transpire, she permitted certain things, and she did not correct that expediently. And so when he's confessing unto Yah, I am a vile, repugnant thing. And that's what he knows that Yah desire here in verse 6. He says, behold, Yah, you have faith. You desire. This is what you delight in. You take great pleasure. You delight in truth. Emet, where? In the inward parts, in the most inward regions of one's thinking, in the mind, in the heart, in the depths of one's nephesh, one's being. He desires for us to live honestly and truthfully, first of all with him, and it is not a battle to live that way with one another. He desires first of all nation, he desires truth now, not fakeness, falsehood, those that are they're not sincere, those that are not dedicated to the calling of Yah. He desires truth. He desires truth in the inward part, in the innermost thinking of one, in the recess of one's mind. He desires us to live in truth with each other. He desires us, that is what he takes pleasure in, that we live faithfully and honorably with one another in the innermost part. And not only there, he says, but in the softam, in the hidden, those things that are shut up in you that you close out or you close off others from. He desires that you deal or work in the apparatus of truth. He desires that in us. He desires truth in the inward part. That is his pleasure. He takes pleasure in one walking in the integrity of truth. It can be nothing else, YisraYah'ale. And so if we legitimately and honestly confess our sins and recognize our vile ways and understand how repugnant they are, and that thing is to Almighty Yah, then we will deal with integrity and honesty with him. And being honest with integrity with him, we will deal with each other with honesty and integrity. This is the thing. And this where it must all begin. If it doesn't begin here with truth in the inward parts, you cannot make ready. There is no preparation. There is no preparedness. There is no paying attention to the smallest of things that you may bring about what is pleasing unto Yah. In essence, you are fit, you are ready, you are prepared for any circumstance that comes your wait. And when it comes your way, you're ready with immediate action. You're ready to take offense to that. Whether it's prayer, fasting, sincerity in your devotion unto Yah, you are ready at the drop of the hat. It makes no difference what the circumstance is. And if we are not ready, because there is no preparedness, we have not gone through the lengths of preparing the necessary things to make sure our minds can endure whatever trial it is. That's what makes us fit. I was thinking, a very strong man, and I would say a strong man can deadlift, to me now, he can deadlift between 800, 1,500 pounds, 1,000 pounds. But in that challenge of another man, it's not 100 pounds that beat the other man. He beats the man of his size and his strength by 1 pound, by 3/4 of a pound, by 2 pounds. It's not that he's lifting 10 pounds more. It's not that he's lifting 100 pounds more. It is the small amount of weight. It is the smallest amount. 3/4 of a pound, 1/2 of a pound, 1/3 of a pound. He doesn't say put on 50 more pounds. He would say put on 3/4 of a pound. And you think that 3/4 of a pound added to 960 pounds, it doesn't add much to that? You are sadly mistaken, my friends. That small amount of weight, it adds significance to the poundage of what he can lift. But those few ounces takes more than what it would take to lift that which he can lift. So it must always be a readiness that we're prepared for whatever thing comes immediately upon us. And the way we do that, it must be a purging and a confession of our sins. And we must get it right, nation. We must get it right. Now sometimes he desires truth, and there were parts. What is truth? It is honesty. It is integrity. It's not predicated upon lies and falsehood. It is genuineness. It is a genuine effort. It is an effort that is sincere. He desires truth, not lies, corruption, foulness, ovin, sin in the inward parts. He desires truth. And it begins with truth. Why? Because it's going to end with truth. It begins with truth. It's going to end with truth. And then he says, and in the hidden parts, you shall make me to know Hukhmah. You shall make me to know wisdom. I shall become skilled in my understanding, my ability to fight. Milchaya, I can fight as a strong warrior of Almighty Yah. You shall make me to Yada, to understand, to know what is the wisdom, the skillfulness to fight the battle. I will be fit to fight the battle. I have all the necessary tools to fight the battle. It begins there. One prepares and makes sure there's a certain ration of food, and we need the ration of wisdom. One makes sure that one has significance to carry them through that time that is dry. So we must have understanding of that. We must have the wisdom of that understanding. We must have the discernment. We must have the taboo. We must have the intelligence of that. And we just don't have that, nation. We don't. And we need to ascertain, we need to acquire those things. What is the process? Well, these 17 verses, they will teach you the victory of how to ascertain, what to abandon, and how to go forth in your truth. Let's look quickly here in Job. Job was a man of great distress, was he not?
Yes.
Job chapter 38, one verse I want to read. And so Job challenged the Most High in the agony of his pains as he searched his own mind for integrity of truth. He asked Job a question here in Job 38 and verse 36. Look at this tremendous dialogue between Job and Yah. He asked us all the same question. He asked Job, who has sheathed, who has put forth, who has been the one that has appointed or made that a station in your life. It is fixed, and not only is fixed, it ought to be set in our minds. Who has put wisdom in the inward parts? Yah asked Job that question. Who has bestowed upon us, who has no fun permitted us, who has granted unto us wisdom in the inward parts? Who has done that? Is it our own proudness of strength and our abilities? You ask him that. You have spoken unto your patriarchs and friends with great wisdom. I want to ask you one question. Who is the one that grants wisdom? The inward parts. Who does that? Or, Yah says, who has not done? Who has bestowed? Who has granted unto you understanding? No. We must get understanding, nation. We are a people that's consumed by our emotional subsidies that set us aside from Yah. But Yah wanted to know from Job who has given understanding to your love, to your YHWH, to that process of thinking beyond the natural realm. Through that process of thinking whereby the natural man cannot comprehend it. Who has laid that in our hearts? In other words, it's beyond the natural comprehension of thing. That's what the word YHWH means. It is in the celestial realm. Who has given us the power of granting us to believe YHWH? Who has granted unto us the power to believe in the Dam of YHWH? Who has bestowed that kind of understanding in us? We have ascertained or acquired of our own. Yah put it there. He gave us the measure of faith. He's given unto every man, and he is the one that draws. And as he draws, that little small amount of emunah keeps us in the path. It is something in the inward parts, nation. It is not something that is external. It is in the inward part. Who put it there? He didn't put it in every man, but he put it in his elect, his people. He put that wisdom of understanding in you, that you will know that these things, and we will get to that, it is to make us fit. Man says, I'm going to run a marathon. He may start off running 1 mile a day, and then he escalated that to 2, then 5, 6, and then he began to work on time. He conditions his body, his mind to endure the pressures and the pain, the somewhat suffocation. When he's desperate for air in his lungs, he presses beyond that which is natural, and he presses into that power of the celestials. He presses into that part of the Koach, and that is the strength of the Melech of Yah. That is the strength of the Melechim of Yah, that they believe Yah. They believe Him. And they have great confidence in the works of Almighty Yah. And not only that, He has given us Shakfi, He has given us this mind that it is phenomena. And that phenomenal mind is what? It is a phenomenal mind. It simply does one thing. It believes Him. It believes Him. It trusts in Him. Never seen Him, but it believes Him. It's a natural man, and that natural processing of thinking cannot do that. That's why we get weary and we get ready to turn around and give up on him. If we receive this tonight, we will see the victorious power, the YHWH in our lives, YisraYah'ale. It's not something hard. It just takes the same pleasure that he has placed in us, and these are the things that brings him pleasure. And know that he has put truth in us enough to bring us pleasure. We ought to have chafetz and make our hearts delight with great confidence of assurance. So that is the question that Yah asked Eov. But what and how do we position ourselves? I'll show the identity of us. There are those that believe it's not the inward thing or the inward parts. That is a fool. And I will deal with that. That's a fool. Look at what YHWH says in Luke chapter 11. One verse I want to read, verse 39. And this is a representation of our inward parts. Luke 11:39. This is the encounter with the Pushim, the Pharisees. YHWH says this, and YHWH said unto that one of the Pharisaic order, now you Pharisees, you may clean the outside of the cup and platter. Yeah. There's a false pretense. You pretend in hypocrisy that you're this way and that way, but inside it's not that way. There's no desire for the pleasure of Yah in our life. He said, you may clean the outside of the cup and platter. Then he used the word, exodit, the great. I want to read that precise, definitive. He said, but your inward parts, you also said, it implies that which is within the inside, i.e., it is the life or the nephesh of you. You pretend to be all that you are, and you're nothing. He said, you make yourself look nice. You pretend, you're false. You stand with your pilastri on your arm. You make long, drawn-out prayers. You fast, and you want everybody to know you fast. You do all those things that give an external example. But he said, you're dogs. You are a dog, and I'm going to prove by Torah how you're going to recognize that kind of a dog. He says, so you look nice, but you're not dealing in truth in the inward parts. You don't speak with wisdom. You talk with folly and foolishness. You love the sporting and jocularity. You don't have it, Pharisees. He said, but inwardly in you is so thin, that which is within part. He says, you are of chapege, raging, raving. Look at what this chapege implies. It is one of extortioner. You extort. You are one that is a plunderer, and you rob. You take advantage. You cheat for your own enterprise. He said, but you have such a ravening wickedness. Poneria. And this is the capsule of it all. Poneria. You're full of depravity. You're full of iniquity. You're full of wickedness. You're full of malices. And above all, you're full of evil purposes. Your purposes are evil, and your desires are evil. They're not pure. They're not clean. Your desires truth in the inward parts. And the inward parts, as Dawid, first thing, he confessed his sins and his corruption, his acts against Yah and against the Commonwealth of YisraYah'ale. We're not that way. We better question ourselves and see who is beguiling me. This is us. We think that I am better. We think that I possess more. We think that I am brighter. We think that I am the one that is the possessor, and you possess nothing at all. He said you're full of this. Depravity, such vile wickedness. It is a stench of your wickedness. You're concerned with the outward parts, but inside you're full of wickedness and death and every kind of corruptible thing. What do? I must identify that corruption in me. I must identify the foul nature of depravity in me. I'm telling us, YisraYah'ale, and the only way we're going to do that is through the power and the revelation of truth. It must be spoken to me. It must reprove me. It must identify me. It must show me. And we are a nation of people that Yah doesn't speak to me, because that is not me. It's you, it's you, it's you, it's you, but it's not me. You are a blatant fool. I said to a man today, it is amazing, because the way I talk, most people cannot bear it. And they will leave from this place, and because their own hearts have condemned them, they will condemn me. And they will find every little thing, to subjugate me under, but they will never bear forth the same judgment on myself as I bear on that man, because they're not real. He desires truth. And if you're not honest with yourself, oh, I can go run 10 miles. No, I can't. But I know how to prepare to make the 10 miles. So I began with a walk. I began with a jog. I began with a trot. And then I tried to escalate onto running. That's how you began. Oh, I can do that. I can lift 500 pounds. That's silliness, and that's the way we are. I have this spiritual dynamics. You will know what a man is spiritual. You will know what a man has the strength and the power of Yah. You will know it. There's a certain presence about him. The Torah speaks of it, and you will know what he is. You will know those that are false. They have no sense of strength or the beauty of Yah's integrity. I'm going to preach and teach to us tonight, YisraYah'ale. You cannot make this ready with the preparation until you begin with honesty. And you must identify me. I'm not worried about identifying him. I must identify me. And we got rave reviews of me. It's a lie. It's a twisted lie. It's a stinking lie. And it is a dirty lie. I have rave reviews of me. I'm nice, I'm kind. I treat everybody well. You are a filthy, wicked liar. You don't even treat yourself well. Because you will not say, I'm a dirty liar, unfit for the kingdom. You will not say that yourself. We don't have time to play around, nation. When that bride realized the bridegroom will be waiting for her, she will do all she can to shed the pounds. How does she do that? I can, because I love him. And if we love Yah, we should desire truth. We should desire his Emet, the power of Torah, the purpose of Torah, that creates a will of Torah, that creates a love of Torah, that creates an inspiration of Torah, and we will press forward for that mark and that high calling. In YHWH, we are a fragile, weak I am. You think you're going in with what you offer? We are crazy. We're going to hell, nation. That's a fact. That's a fact. He that is often reproved. None of you will ever harden your heart because of what anyone says up here. You get upset. You get mad. You get upset with him, but you never get upset with you, because you justify the most sadistic and evil ways. So I'm a confessor of everything that one speaks from up here. I'm guilty. Why am I guilty? Because I've been guilty in the smallest of infractions. So I'm guilty of it all. And that's what Dawid set the platform for us tonight. You're guilty, and there's only one redemption. That's through the name of YHWH HaMashiach. It's not coming by your supposed, quote, good works, unquote, your God-like that you perceive that you are. It's not coming that way, my friend. And you are flat out fool if you think it's coming that way. We have the same mindset of the pharisaic order. We want to look as though that we're real, but inside we're full of some of the most ravenous wickedness that surpass any kind of wickedness of corruption that one could allow or be inspired by to commit. We said, I'm wretched. I am undone and I'm vile. Job said, look at me. But his wife said, curse the one that made you and die. Job says, I want to ask you one question, my friend. Who has put this chukhmah, this wisdom, in your inward parts? Who has laid the foundation? He will lay the foundation that we have just a small measure of emunah, just to believe. Just to believe. Just believe. We can't see the fruit of the power of it, but we just believe. Help my unbelief, y'all. I'm weak. I'm weak. I'm weak. And you got to begin to stop criticizing others. You better criticize yourself, my friend. You better criticize yourself and critique you. Save myself from this untoward. You can't even save you. How are you going to convince someone else? I have not convinced me. It's by the power of truth that convinces us. And we're not wholeheartedly, totally convinced. The reason why? You don't have the ability to confess. You say, I'm wrong, yeah. I have sinned against the Most High. I have wrought evil. The sin of my birth, shapen by this defiance of Torah. Help me, That's what we need to cry. Hallelujah. You think YHWH didn't know that they may clean the outside? You are a fool if you got this false delusion that the way I look is what makes me right. I got to dress like a Hebrew. You are a silly man. You are a stupid woman. That's a fact. Who gave you more hell than the Hebrew Israelites? We're still giving him the same hell. The same arrogance of pride and self-righteousness. Our righteousness is not according to the Sadiq. Your Sadiq is an everlasting. That is the person he is. And he empowered us to walk in that same fortitude and magnitude of his strength. In the same purpose, YisraYah'ale, he has granted that unto us as a nation. It is my inward parts. I can't make my outside look nice. I gotta make the full man. And it begins in the inward parts, and it began with truth. For thy Torah is Emet. His Torah is truth. His Torah. That's why the Torah once said to me today, well, I don't want to hear the negativity. I said, that is so silly of you. I said, one thing about Yah, he said this. Was he negative? No, that's not what I mean. You said you don't want to hear anything that you believe is negative. That was Eeyore. He had friends to tell him his vile ways and how corrupt he is. Only a friend will wound you like that. The damn fool will never tell you because they're going to hide their sin. And that's why we have this socializing of each other. It's not in truth, but it's in falsehood. Yah loves us. And we're with friends. We're going to be wounded. And they will tell you how insensitive, how wicked, how corrupt, how sadistic, how evil you is. They will tell you that. But they are not friends. I want to move a little further. Let's turn here to Romans, Romania. The 2 verses I want. I want to ask us a question as that we realize that you take pleasure in truth that dwells in the recess of my nephesh. It is the truth of my life whereby when I'm down and out, it breathes life into me. Let us see what YHWH says and what should be in the inward parts. We know truth and we know what truth is. It is the power, it is the representation of his Torah fulfilled in our inward parts, in our liver, in our minds. But this is how YHWH, as he writes unto us, scattered throughout this Roman Empire, in Romans chapter 7, verse 21, verse 22. He says, I find that there's a Torah, a law, there's something inside of me. He said, when I would always desire to do tov, he says, evil is parek kema. Parek kema. He said, I find evil is present. Yes. It is beside me. Yes. It is near me. It is close to me. And it is at hand. That's what it means. It doesn't mean that it's in me. It doesn't mean that it's in you. It means that it's always close by. It is trying to find the avenue to penetrate the inward parts. It will never find the avenue if we delight in the truth of Yah, because he delights in truth in the inward parts. He says, always near me or at hand with me. Look what he says here. Same thing Yah said. For I delight sunetu. Sunedomai. I delight. Sunedomai. I must read. When I saw how this is defined, I was amazed. I'm glad that I'm an ignorance man. I'm glad that I am an unlearned man. I'm glad of that. I don't want to be smart. I asked questions to one today. I said, you're simply repeating what you've heard someone else say. You don't know. Now you're arrogant. Just say, I don't know. I don't know, and I did know. But I will tell you what it implies, what the Sunay domain implies. This is what it implies now. He says, I delight. Sunay domain. This is a powerful indication. It means to rejoice, together with another or others. You understand? For I delight to rejoice with others, not just me. When Yah delights, he rejoiced with the Melechim, the Shemaiah, of the heavens above. So when one delights, for I delight in the Torah of Yah, where after the soul, after the inward man, that man which is within, which is the inward man, the nephesh, the conscience, and you rejoice, or you sunedomai. You take that rejoicing. You can't say, well, I do it by myself. I rejoice with me. No, that's not what it implies. It must be done with others. There's a testimony that emanates from the inward parts. There's a delighting. It is not something that is external, but is outwardly. And that's what it implies. I delight. When one delights in the blessings and the riches of Torah, one does it with others. One does it with those that of the same desire and passion that one is of. So Yah knew exactly, even when they tried to transpose the Hebraic, he made even the Greek that they suppose elevate the purpose in an altitude that is parallel or equal what the Hebrew terminology would represent. So it is not just you, for I delight, not just you say, well, I delight by myself. No, it is sune do mind, sune do, like a door when you go butcher one, do mind. It is mine, imagine, sune do mind. That you delight, I rejoice together with another or others. We don't do that, do we? Let us be real. Come on. I rejoice, I delight in the Torah of Yah after the inward is after the man, the internal, the inward man. This little word esor, let me define it. I'm not a scholar, and I possess no scholarship at all. But I like what it implies. This is what it says. Esor, within, the internal inner man, i.e., in other words, the nephesh, the conscience, and then it is defined in the most profound way of this, of those who belong to the YisraYah'ale brotherhood. So it's the sisterhood and the brotherhood. You understand? As so, three-letter word, ESO has such powerful infinitive. I rejoice with my Akim. I'm the daughters of Zion. I make my dance present before Yah that others may see my great delight. The ESO from the inward man. From the inward man, I delight in the Torah of Yah from the inward part. Dawid, just stay there. I began here in Tehillim 51, the second verse. Behold, you desire truth. What is truth? For thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness. And your Torah, it says law there, but your law which is his Torah is the truth. Tehillim 119, 142. And Shaul said the same thing, did he not? Everything measured the same measurement, does it not? We must have this in the inward part, YisraYah'ale, in order to make ready, or the readiness of our mind, and that is our minds being fit for whatever battle comes, for whatever opposition or great agony besiege us, our minds are fit for the challenge. Our minds are fit for the challenge of whatever comes. I want to be fit. I want my mind to be fit for the challenge. Whether it's death, trials, or affliction, I want my mind to be fit for that. Whether it's to battle or engage, whether it's to love my the house of YisraYah'ale, I want mine to be fit. I don't want to be one that is false. I don't want to present something on the exterior and someone think I got it together. I want my heart to be together according to Torah. I don't care what I look like. And if that is together on the inside, the outside will represent that. That's the fact of the matter. I will prove it now. I will prove it in this teaching, all right? Is that all right? YHWH, he progresses here. 2 Corinthians. I want to read this quickly. Hallelujah. 2 Corinthians. He's speaking to the brotherhood, the daughters of Zion, to understand what is so delightful, that the whole prospect of the purpose of what we're doing is that we believe that we have eternal life. If we don't believe that, we've lost the whole focus and the purpose of everything. So understanding that, he's writing to the brotherhood. He's saying to us to not be disturbed. Don't faint under the opposition or the weight of those things that will try you. Don't be discouraged. Don't lose heart for Yah. Don't give up in the battle. That is what he is saying here. If you read the entire chapter of 2 Corinthians, chapter 4. I want to begin here at verse 15, though. But this is what he is employing unto the nation, YisraYah'ale. How do I know? Look what he says here. Not some things. Verse 15. He says for all, some things, for all things are for your sake. Everything, YisraYah'ale, it is for your sake. That it may work out Yah's pleasure in you through truth. Everything is for your sake. When he doesn't like me, it is for your sake. I wouldn't even worry about him not liking me. But everything is for your sake. He was harsh to me. I'm not even worrying about someone being harsh to me. But for all things. He did not say some things. No. He said all things. They are for your sake. For what reason? You don't take that same course. That the abundance, the much, the rabah, the abundance of the free, unmerited ahava, the love, and the great favor of Yah, through that profound hoodoo, toda, thanksgiving, of many overflow to the honor, to the kabod, and the splendor of Yah. Everything that happens to you, it is to bring this exalted excellence unto Yah. Because you understand the abundance of his ahava and the abundance of his kindness, and you say this no matter. And so every process that he took Eob through, and all of the great agony of Dawid, and YisraYah'ale in the ministry, it is for the honor of Yah that he bestows a great loving kindness and a great tenderness upon us to show us nothing. I don't care what it is, what the battle is. These things happen. But then there's a greatness of my love that will overflow abundantly upon you. We just keep the imunah. The old one would say, keep it in the roads. Stay the course. Stay on the right way. He said that's what it's for. And not only that, it shows the excellence and the splendor of Yah. Then he tells us this in verse 16. He says, because of all of this, for which cause we faint not. We don't give up. We don't give in. We don't run away. We stay the course. That's what he said. Don't faint. I refuse to faint. I don't care who turns against me, who despises me, who says I don't like what he says no more, who turn their gifts of kindness. It makes me no difference, YisraYah'ale. I will not faint. I will not get weary in well-doing. But listen to what he says. But though my outward man, it perish. It perish. It's DF0. DF3. Although my outward man perish, it change for the worse, to corrupt the mind and the morals of one. Although my outward man perish, yet, listen, although it is destroyed, it is brought down to the decaying stench of the flesh, yet the soul, that which is inside, yet the inward man, it grows, it is renewed day by day. Something is wrong. If we're not growing day by day, if we're not eclipsing yesterday, we ought to be stronger today than we were yesterday or the beginning of this week. He said, we faint, we get weary, but yet there's something about this opposition unto Yah that even our corrupt manners sometimes challenge Yah, yet we're renewed. There's no way I can make it unless I'm renewed. I'm so glad when it's time to sleep. I'm glad when it's time to rest. I'm glad to see the light of the sun, to see the renewed day, the fresh day of Yah's light. Yet it gives me greater promise, greater tikvah, that I'm going through the challenges of this day, because there is an inward man that delights in Yah's confidence to allow me to be tried this way, that he allows it. He is the one that grants it and permits it, YisraYah'ale. Then in verse 17 he talks about the nephesh, for our light. For our light. This is light. He calls it a light ellipsis. This trouble, the trial, this is light for us.
Yes.
It's not something that is heavy. It isn't. He said, for this light tribulation and trial, which is but for a moment. For a moment. Just for a millisecond. He calls it a light affliction. It is not something that is terrifying. It is not something that is so afflicting that we cannot allow His truth to reside in our inward parts, and He may delight in it. And believe me, we will delight in His truth. I do, YisraYah'ale. I delight in the knowledge of His understanding. I take great delight when Yah opens up simple things to me, not by some voice, but within the context of the verses of Torah. That's the only way He opens it up to me. I'm not one that He talks to that way. He talks to me by YHWH, for He is the Word that has been made flesh. He doesn't whisper nothing in my ear. He talks to me in the pages of this book, and I see by cross-examination, and it all makes sense when I've finished the course of that race. You start a race, and you start slow, but you get excited, and then the second wind comes in, and the more I labor in this book, I get excited, and all of a sudden, there are times I sit there and I wrestle. I say, I'm not going to try to teach that. I'm not going to touch that. I don't want to deal with that. And all of a sudden, the light of that one word in that verse that opens the spreadsheet to me, that takes me in the various areas, and I say, oh my, I can't wait till I teach that. You tell me You get intimidated, you better get intimidated. I'll get intimidated. There are things, I've got messages over there I'm not ready to teach because I can't teach them. I'm not prepared to teach them. You understand? I searched the Torah times, there is only one verse. How do I get the others that are associated with that? How? And I may let it sit there for 6 months or a year, and all of a sudden the same words that I put on the paper then, they come to my remembrance. And I go back and find it, and then I began from there. And all of a sudden, because of the growth and the delight in the inward part, then the understanding of the truth began to open up in a ravine of great flowing of water. That's just me. And that's the way it is, YisraYah'ale.
Yeah.
He talks about the light afflictions. There's a comma, which is but for a moment. These afflictions we got, listen, works for us. This is what they do. For him to tolerate me all day, it's a light affliction. For him to tolerate me in the hour of the day, it's a light affliction. Why? Because that's asa. Asa works. It fashions us. It forms us. It works for us.
Yes.
A far more exceeding and eternal weight of honor and splendor. And you think you're going through something. And yet it works for us a far exceeding and a much more splendorous occasion when we see him. Oh, I want to see him look upon his holy, there to sing forever of his great kindness to me. It works for us. Those things are the things that work for us a great splendor, YisraYah'ale. And you think that I am going through more than you? I was talking to one today, and my Zachim Benjamin called me, and we were talking. And I said to her, and I put the walkie so she could hear our conversation. And so when the conversation ended, she heard our conversation. I attended. She was weeping and just crying. And I said to her daughter, she's from New York, she lives in Greensburg. I said, I say to the people all the time, we think that I am going through something that is great. She's a young daughter, 31 years old. She said, Ria, I just don't know. I just start walking in this way 1 year, 1/2. And she just began to weep. And I said, daughter, you will be surprised. I tell people this story. And you being from New York, how that there are those with 2, 3, 4 children, and they have a great delight for Yah, and no one knows the great agony or the pain that they suffer and they are afflicted by. And she just wept. I said, so just you call me back the week of the 17th. We'll find some way. All right, but speak to your ish about the matter. But we'll find some way to assist her. You understand?
Hallelujah.
That's what we will do.
Hallelujah.
I don't care what it costs. YisraYah'ale, Yeshua gave the purpose of his being for me. And I was a dirty, no, low-down dog. And I still am. That's what I am. I'll remind myself of not you. I don't know anything about you because I've never asked you questions about you. But I know about me. I've got enough to deal with knowing about me. I don't have to deal with no other one. I don't need to learn nothing about you. I know me, I can look at you. I know you because I look at me. You look at me, you look at you. You know you because you look at me. Let's get real, nation. that we got some kind of pristine fervor of this euphoric fire. Unless we hear this continuously, we will all fall away. And they all turned and walked no more with him. He had to restore them. You're no greater than them. And you would do the same. You would do the same, my friend. We will go away. That's why he's got to take us out of this world one day. Because we will go back. We'll get weary and well doing. We will go back. All right, son? Hallelujah. So there is something that is far more exceeding and more precious than these little small affliction or the light afflictions that we're doing this thing. Let's just hold fast and do all of these little small things. All right? I said to y'all today, the finance has changed tremendously for us. But I've seen it when it was $750 average a week, and there was 65 of us here. And as the old ones would say, Yah made the way in his path for us. And for me to hold fast, and I will not get weary. I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I sleep well. I had a meal today, fit for a king. I ate every drop of it. So I'm doing exceedingly well and abundantly well. I want to show us something. That's why, nation, listen to me. We have to be careful in our walk, our disposition. Let me read and I'll tell you what I'm reading from, because I want you to hear it. I want your minds on this. This is what Nobi, the teacher, Shirach, that's as far as I'm going. He speaks to us. He tells us how our body motion, it tells a lot about me. I want to read this. That's what it says. I want you all hear me for this moment, all right? Listen to this. Shirach says this. There is a wicked man that hangs down his head sadly. You're not going to see me do that. You speak to one, they drop their head sadly. It's not because there is repentance. It's because we have been caught in our own sinful activities. He's a wicked man. I've got much more to this than that. So he hang his head sadly. He will pretend to cry, but it's not genuine. You understand? Y'all calls him a wicked man. That's what the master teacher calls him. Then he says this, but inwardly, she hang his head as though that I'm so remorseful. I care so much. But Yah says, but inwardly, he is full of mirama. He's full of deceit. She's full of lies. She's full of corruption. That's what he does. He hides his face and pretends not to hear. You ever dealt with one like that? They pretending that they're hearing, but yet they're hiding their face. That's what he does. He hides his face. He looks down. But where he is not known, now with me, you are known to you. Where I am not known, he will do you a mischief before you be aware of it. He will speak against you. He will do evil against you. He thinks that, you know, it's amazing because in my days when I was younger, there was a man, his name was Warren. He was huge. He was about my size. He was every bit 300 pounds. He wanted to be bigger. He was stronger than a Cape buffalo. I will watch the man. He has 525 pounds on his chest. I never asked him if he wanted me to spot for him, because I had seen the pattern. He will not allow anyone. Someone you do it like that. He just say, I'm all right. He didn't even talk. But when he took that 500, because I'm counting, that's 4, 5, 5. I'm counting every plate. And he would drop that down on the chest. He would press it like a man's man. He didn't say anything to me, and I didn't say anything to him. The only thing I did for him was like this. And I moved my head like that. And he moved his head like that. That was it. I didn't go out of my way. He didn't go out of his way. And yet there was a rapport. Until I saw him one day. We sat down and talked. Very loquacious, very talkative. But when he got in that world of preparation, I saw him the same day. That's all he gave me. No more than that. So when a man is not known, he will bring mischief against one. And Yah says you need to be aware of that man. But one hangs his head and one forebores and one talks. This is his condition. And by lack of strength, he is prevented from sinning. By lack of strength. He has no ability not to sin. This is what he will do. He will do evil when he finds an opportunity. And this how Yah say you will know one like that. Not because of their outward appearance. Sirach, read the whole 19th chapter. Sirach 19, listen to this one verse. A man is known by his appearance. I will say to one, pick your feet up, man. Stand upright and walk with erection. They don't understand that. They think, and people will think that you're picking on them. Yes. A man is known by his appearance. True. Well, I got more. A daughter is known by her appearance. What is on the inward parts will shine forth. Yeah. And one, listen now, that has tabun, one that has an understanding, a strength, a beauty, one that has understanding by his countenance, his sponim. That's how we are known. And one by one sponim, because it emanates from the inward parts. That's why Sirach 19:26, I began with the inward parts. And one will be known by his countenance. I say to many people, come on, man, you can do better than that. When a man looks sickly, tired, and worn, man is known. I don't care how much wisdom you think you possess and understanding. One will know what you possess by your ponim, by your expression in your face, nation. Either that's a lie which Sirach read or wrote down for me. I'm doing a wicked job by reading something that is not there. You can trust me when I'm reading, it's here. Yeah. It says, and one that has understanding, when a man has understanding, not because of his verbiage, a man and one that has understanding by his countenance, when you meet him. When you meet a man that is a wise man, his countenance will tell you that. Because there's an inward power that works from the inside. He works in the splendor of truth. He works with the disposition of truth. He cares, he's concerned, he's honest, he's an honorable man. You will know that on his ponim. You will see the light of that presence about that man. And men think because they talk much, because one is loquacious, and yet they don't talk with preciseness of actuality and truth with strength. They talk. They can't back up. Everything I say, I back it up from here. The man said to me today, there are so many different determinations. Man just messed everything up. So I said to him, so you telling me that's... He said, no, sir. He said, you are one that says something. You may use that, what do you use? Hebrew, but you express and define, you show us, and you make it understandable. You understand? And that's the way it should be. I don't care whether I use English or what. I make it understandable to us as a nation and a people. And you will have no excuse before Almighty Yah. You that think you're smart and wise, your countenance will express what you are and who you are. I don't care if it's strangers and folks that know nothing about Yah, and those that don't even know, quote, a God, unquote. But it is the presence of your ponim that speaks of the inward integrity, the truth of Yah's delight in you. It speaks more than you being filly fly. You dress to the T. That means nothing. It's 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 One's ponim. Man is known. And so when a man meets you, he will know that this is not the run of the mill. If the man came today, if I never see him again, he will know that this man, he's not like the rest of them that I have met over 40 years in this way. This man, why? Because my ponim speaks. The presence of my looks, my eyes, my excitement about Yah. There are folks that never get excited about Yah. And when they talk about Yah, it's full of jocularity and foolishness and laughter. Will you laugh and laugh with mockery? That's a fact. Foolish generation. Read the entire chapter of Shirach 19. I want to give us this here in Tehillim, and I'm going to close from Tehillim, Proverbs, and Mishli. I want us to go back to Dawid, Tehillim, Psalms, chapter 5. This is what Dawid asked Yah. And this should be all of our desire as well. Look what he says. Psalms 5 and 8. He asks Yah, lead. Instruct me with your counsel, your musa, your correction. He says, lead me. Lead me. Yes. Oh Yah. In what? In your sadiqa. Your sadaqa. Lead me in your righteousness. For what reason? Because of my shara. Those that are hostile, they're against me. Those that serve evil intent against me. And then he says to the Most High, make your way straight before my eyes. We need to see the straight and the narrow path before our eyes. Make your way. My way seems right to me, but it's despicable, it's evil. Yes. There's a way that seems right. Yes. I am a man, unto a man. But when it comes to the case, the end, its end result, it is shomat. It is destruction. It's going to destroy you. It's going to bring you down to the gates of the lowest hell. So he asks y'all to first of all lead him. He tells him, or he asks in your personality, and that is the sadaqa, or the righteousness of Yah, and he wants his enemies to see the person, this personality that reflects Yah, that he walks in that same kind of personality. Why? Because Yah's way is straight. He wants that way to be straight before his face. Narrow, as we're reminded, and straight is the direct of Yah. And few there be that find the path of Yah. And then he says, for there is no faithfulness in his enemy's mouth. He talks about their chara, that facility of thoughts, how it is processed, and how that thought is reverberated. He says their inward part is very is wicked, is violent, is sadistic, is corrupt. They are full of mischief. They love to do things in a naughty way. They know what they're doing is wrong, but they want to do it anyway to displease one, that show one that I can do what I want to. That's an evil woman, and it's an evil man. Yeah. That's an evil man. That's an evil woman. He said because their inward part. And when Yah says very wicked, that's a powerful teaching, my friend. He said it's very wicked. Not just wicked, but very, very wicked. Very demonstrative. He calls them very chavad, very wicked. They are so perverted. And he says, and their throat is an open sepulchre or keber. Their throat is an open keber. It's a grave. What's in a grave? Nothing but death. And everything they speak is death. It's a tomb. It brings death. Because there is no light of light in them. Kama. Semicolon. And they halach, they flatter. You're sweet, I'm not sweet. I'll let no man flatter me. I'll let nobody flatter me. There was one that would come from New Jersey here, and the person gave wonderful gifts. And because I didn't flatter them, the whole house I was in, they said I was this. I thought you were a silly woman and immature. You don't want me to tell you what I think of you. And because I did not flatter her, she was perturbed. She didn't like that. You ought to lift me up and bring me before the people and tell them how precious you are, a fruitcake woman. You're full of sin and wickedness. You ought to be glad that I've allowed you even to come here. It's not your money didn't make this place, but it was a tremendous blessing for the community. But I wasn't going to flatter her with lies, and they flatter with their loshon, with their tongue of lies. I'm not going to flatter me. I don't speak flattery to me, and I will be honest. I appreciate you daughters of Zion. Even you that are full of ruckus, your motive is not pure. I appreciate you, and yet I commend you. Although you're full of you and your self-righteousness, yes, which is nothing but a filthy, filthy rag. That's all it is. You have this verbosity that you think it's you and you. Man's wisdom and understanding will be seen in his body. And people will ask questions, where are you from, my friend? You sure I haven't seen you around here? Where? I just wanted to engage with you. Well, we can do that as well, my friend. How does it begin? It begins and ends with how I began. I want to show us, Dawid says, in the beginning when I read, he says, you desire truth. What is truth? It's Torah. I'm going to close with two verses. One here in Mishli Proverbs. This is what will cause the Torah to be activated, come alive, to speak, to build in us. Proverbs, who could speak this more profoundly than Shlomo? Mishli Proverbs 20:27. It says this, the spirit, the ruach of man, it is a candle, and the word candle or lamp, it is near, N-E-E-R, it is near. That is ruach, our ruach. He says that the ruach of man, why is a candle? Because what did Yah do from the beginning? He breathed in us, and we became a living chayil, a living strength, nephesh, a living being. He breathed the life of what? Torah in Adom. And YHWH was the word Svara made flesh. He says the Ruach of man is a lamp, a candle of Yah. What does it do? This is the Ruach of Yah, searching all the Chada, the inward parts of the belly. That's when a man has the Ruach of Yah, when that breath of HaMashiach, of that testimony, it's going to always search. It's going to search the inward parts, the Chada, the innermost parts, the mind, the recess of the mind, the nephesh. It's going to search those parts of one's victim, one's life. And to make sure that I'm right, as I said, the word candle or lamp, it is near. Proverbs chapter 6, I will show you this light, this lamp. Proverbs 6:23. Proverbs 6:23. For the commandment is a lamp. It is a near. It is a lamp. And the Torah of Yah is light. And reproof of instructions, that's the only way that will guide you in the way of high yield. That is the only thing that will bring you to the way of life. Reproof, Musa, instruction, the counsel of rebuke, correction. It brings us to the way of life, and that's what His mitzvot will do unto us as a nation and as a people. In order for us to be ready for the moment, for the instant, that we're ready, prepared, and there's a readiness in our mind that we have composed ourselves for any battle. It's going to have to be God in truth in us, that Yah delights in that truth in us. And that truth is the instructions of Torah, that you don't get offended when the Torah speaks to you. When the Torah reproves you, the Torah rebukes you, you delight. That is the only way, nation. You cannot fight this battle any other way but His way. And that's the end of that. May Yah's blessing rest upon you all. May He cause you to delight in His Torah. I know I do. It may cause the strength. What strength is to act? There's only one strength, and that is a testimony of YHWH. That's got to be real. It's got to be real in us. It can't be false. It has to be real, and men must know that it is real. May He cause the strength to cause your heart to delight with great rejoicing, and may we fulfill all that He commands us. I want to make this announcement again as I send out the newsletter. We will be having or celebrating YHWH, the Feast of Trumpets, beginning on next Monday evening, the 10th at sundown. And we're going to have service at this time, my friend in the back, that we purchase all that PA system to take it out and see what it does, and those cordless mics and all. And we're going to have a service beginning at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're going to look for the moon night. And we're going to have a great time. And we're going to light the torches and so we can kick off the mosquitoes and flies and things, all right? And so service on next Monday. We will not have service on next Keetvay Emet. It's going to be Monday evening at 7:30. And then on Tuesday, we're going to have service at noon. And then a wonderful meal after. We're coming here for a couple hours. I'm not going to speak long, and I may not speak Zokim, but I may change that, all right? So one of them or them together. But we're going to have a great time. I'm looking forward to the moment. It is a time whereby the Shabbat is for us to eat bread. I may teach on that this Shabbat, but I got to finish up the teaching on the culture. The culture of YisraYah'ale, nose ring, earrings. I call them booger rings, or it is from the gates of hell. We're going to prove it all this Shabbat. No, I'm going to finish that, all right? And I don't care if you don't like it. It was implemented by the devious powers that rebel against Yah.
Yes.
And don't tell me it's appropriate for the daughters of Zion and the men. They got nose ring, booger rings, and their noses is stupid.
Hallelujah.
It is not of Yah. And I'll debate any of you on that. I'm ready for that. Well, you talk about debate because I'm secure with confidence in what Yah has put in me.
Yeah.
I don't fear no man. When it comes to truth, you're not afraid of any man. You think that I'm going out here, Mike Tyson at his age, and tell him let's box? You got to be, you're crazy. And I will be crazy. You think I'm going out here, what is the heavyweight champ's name in America? That big boy, 6'5", and tell him let's fight? That would be silly of me. I said, man, how you doing, my friend? I know you're the baddest man in the world because you're the champion. You're a mean man. You think I would do that? I'm just saying. When I say I don't fear any man, when it comes to truth, I don't fear no man. I don't fear no man in that. Prove you're right. And a coward will never, a coward doesn't want to discuss. I said to my friend today, I will debate you on that. Let's get it together. I'm not fearful when it comes to that. If I tell you something is in the book, I don't tell you old wise fable. You have made void the word of God by your traditions, of the violence of your traditions. The word of God has no power at all. So I'm not afraid to debate any man. Any man. There's one up there in the hills of Tennessee, I would love to debate him. You all cowardly, well, you shouldn't do that. That's a lie. YHWH debated. Shaul let them devils know he went in their whole houses. And he debated with them. I'm not afraid to die. If he makes me look like a fool, it's all right. Because I have not made ready myself. But I'm ready. I would like to debate the word O-N-E and the word one, ikat, and the word M-E-A-H-E-E, one mia, in the Greek tongue. There's a fellow there in the hills of Tennessee. I would love to debate him. One wife, first wife. I kind of throw that out. Maybe someone we may catch it. Someone did and told him, and maybe they may catch it. I've got another strong one in me. I'll debate on anything when it comes to truth. What do I mean? If we can't stand for truth and defend it, that's all I'm doing, defending truth. I'm not, when I say debate, I'm here for defense. Paul Shaul said we're set for a defense. of the message of Yeshua.
Hallelujah.
If we don't have no backbone to fight, then we're cowards.
Yes.
I've got backbone.
Hallelujah.
We got to fight. We got a race to run.
Hallelujah.
You don't run a race not being prepared. You got to get conditioned. I got a race to run. I'm ready to run it. And I will fight down to the last tooth and nail. And I'm going to win because Yah's my son. May his riches rest upon you all. Be encouraged, YisraYah'ale. Let us stand up. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
In all things we took our above for the excellence of the revelation of Yeshua. We are violent, evil, wicked sinners. And by your kindness, we have been brought to the knowledge of the simple truth tonight. Our sins are forgiven. Bless your nation, your people scattered abroad. I want to pray for Zakim Tamasya. Look upon him, Yah. Call several 4 or 5 times a day. And haven't been able to talk, but bless him. Touch him, I pray. You're the only one that can heal him and restore him, nothing else. Yeshua's mighty name, bless us all tonight. Touch us all, the Achim, the daughters of Zion, every home that's represented here, the tabernacle, and those that are listening, and those that will hear this in some time. Bless everyone, encourage them, cause their hearts to delight in Yeshua's mighty name. Give them fervor throughout this night. Bless us, that we may rejoice in delightfulness of Torah truth from the inward parts, because that's what you delight in. Forgive us of all of our sins and our corruption, that we ask in Yeshua's name. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Baruch nation. Hallelujah.
Okay. That we get
Lift your voice and say a home for you, Yahweh.